Right, and a very good evening to you. Many thanks indeed for joining us. This is Easy Friday on this day, the 11th day of March 2022.
All right, my name is Shiksha, Arora, and once again, welcome to the show where we'll be telling you what's happening in the country and beyond. A very interesting show ahead of you. So tell us where you're watching from. The hashtag is Easy Friday, at Shiksha Arora on Twitter, at John_Kago_M, and at KBC Channel 1. We'll definitely be giving you a shout out.
Absolutely.
Happy International Women's Day to all the women in your life, Kago.
Thank you. Totally appreciate it.
I was hoping you'd wish me, but it's fine.
Well, happy International Women's Day, belatedly so, but it's all right. Now, look at the news that's been shaping up today. 2 years since the first case of the COVID-19 was announced in Kenya, the government is relaxing the measures. You're not required to wear your mask in public, but not out of the woods, because if you are in an indoor gathering, you need your mask. If you're using public transport, you need your mask. We're looking at that, and of course, other stories that have been shaping up tonight. Spotlight a bit later. First things first, let's look at the highlights.
The mandatory wearing of face masks in open public spaces is now lifted.
Government relaxes COVID-19 prevention protocols. You're not yet out of the woods. Bane of hunger. Malnutrition claims lives of 2 children in Wajir County.
Kama kuna mtu yeyote ambaye akunilelewa vizuri, ambaye ameona makosa, mniambie pole sana.
You got me wrong. ODM leader responds to summons by hate speech watchdog.
All right, and tonight, the top story, where 2 years after the first case of COVID-19 that was reported in the country, the government has relaxed prevention protocols and lifted orders on mandatory wearing of face masks in open spaces.
Now, Health Cabinet Secretary Kago, however, maintains face masks will be required in indoor gatherings as well as public transport.
And as Nancy Okware reports, the move has been informed by the low COVID-19 positivity rate recorded in the past month, as well as high uptake of vaccines.
South Africa and most European countries have also relaxed some of these COVID-19 prevention measures.
On Friday, Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe announced relaxing of COVID-19 prevention protocols.
The mandatory wearing of face masks in open public spaces is now lifted. Nonetheless, people are encouraged to maintain social distancing and avoid crowding in public spaces to ensure risk of spread is limited. We, however, encourage the use of masks in all indoor functions. The passenger service vehicles, trains, and air flight operators are to ensure that their staff are fully vaccinated, while all travelers should have their face mask at all times during the course of travel.
The public can now congregate freely, with in-person worship and attendance of sports events expected to resume at full capacity.
For resumption of sports, protocols to be revised for spectators to be allowed back into sporting venues as long as they are vaccinated without masks. All in-person worship is to resume at full capacity as long as all the congregants and worshippers are vaccinated.
Those unvaccinated at any point of entry will be required to present a negative COVID-19 test conducted not more than 72 hours before departure.
Unvaccinated truck drivers shall be required, however, to be in possession of negative COVID-19 PCR tests with a validity of maximum of 14 days prior to travel.
Relaxation of prevention measures has been attributed to the low COVID-19 positivity rate of below 1% for the past 1 month and the uptake of the vaccines.
Siwezi kukueleza ati niseme ati mwezi wa Mei ama June hatutaregea tena kuanza kuweka barakoa kila pahali. Hiyo ni mambo ya kesho. Maombi yetu ni tusifike hapo. Na njia ya sisi kuzuia kufika hapo ni mambo ya kuchanjwa.
The news has been welcomed by Kenyans across the country.
Unaona, kuvaa mask kwa mtu kama mimi mwenye niko na disease kama ya asthma huwa inanipea shida sana sometimes. Nikitembea hasa nikipanda mlima nikiwa na mask, hiyo inaniumiza.
Sasa hivi ya free, sasa tunahisi tuko free kwa sababu anytime police angekupata bila mask, angekushika na the least ungetoa ni let's say 1,000.
In town as you walk, you wondering, will I get caught by the police and what will they ask me for? You know the bribes in Kenya, and yeah. So at least now you're free.
Kuna watu wengine ambao hata kununua hiyo mask ya shilingi 10 ni shida. Kwa hivyo ametusaidia.
In the last 24 hours, Kenya recorded 20 new COVID-19 cases out of 6,123 samples tested. This representing a 0.3% positivity rate. Today, no death resulting from COVID-19 was recorded, with the total fatalities standing at 5,644. The country has so far administered vaccines to over 17 million people. While the relaxation of some of the measures may have come as a relief to many, the Ministry of Health officials have maintained that the country is not completely out of the woods, hence the need to continue exercising caution. Nancy Okware, reporting for Easy Friday from Afya House, Nairobi.
All right, moving on now. 2 children have died of malnutrition in Wajir County, while more than 10 are admitted to hospital weekly.
All right, now our Wajir County Referral Hospital CEO, Dr. Mohammed Bashir, says 21.7% of children in the region have severe acute malnutrition, a situation attributed to dietary constraints following persistent drought.
Drought in Wajir County has drastically affected livestock keepers in the region and beyond. The aftermath is dwindling milk production, whose ripple effect is malnutrition among children.
The president has declared a drought emergency much earlier in this year, but where it has reached, I'm appealing to His Excellency to send out special teams to actually upgrade the knowledge and what we know, and also upgrade the operation to support those who are affected.
Wajir County Referral Hospital Chief Executive Officer Dr. Mohammed Bashir and Head of Malnutrition Nuria Ibrahim say 11 children suffering from severe acute malnutrition are receiving treatment at the facility.
To know that malnutrition tends to makes you weaker to get diseases like pneumonias and diarrheas and all that. So it becomes a vicious cycle. A child becomes sick, they end up becoming malnourished, and when they become malnourished, they become more severe. So we have lost about 2 children from severe acute malnutrition since October last year.
And currently the GAM is at critical. So the GAM is at critical is 21.9%, which is not good.
Leaders in the area say the situation needs to be addressed as a matter of urgency.
The trend tends to be increasing, and we are anticipating the numbers to increase, especially in our wards.
We scale up now instead of waiting when people have died. We need to increase our cash transfers and increase the food rations that are coming.
And the county government to intervene and bring enough food, especially for the children who are under 5 years.
Meanwhile, Migori County is another region reeling from the burden of rising malnutrition cases. Migori County Secretary Christopher Rusana says inadequate nutritional commodities in the county have hindered efforts towards managing malnutrition cases.
Migori County recorded approximately 8,000 cases of malnourished children. Reported, there could be more, but the reported ones were 8,000.
To help solve the problem, Luala Community Alliance has provided data capture and reporting tools which will be distributed to over 79 health facilities to aid in nutrition commodity tracking and accountability.
In Kenya, different counties have been affected by various forms of malnutrition. In these areas, malnutrition has increased the cost of health care, diminished productivity, and slowed down economic growth.
Migori County government has also distributed food supplements worth 30 million shillings for children aged below 5 years who have acute malnutrition.
Now, in other news, Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i maintains the ongoing countrywide crackdown targeting boda boda is not ill-intended, but meant to bring sanity in the sector. Dr. Matiang'i has asked politicians not to politicize the issue, but instead provide solutions on how to improve the sector. The crackdown implemented following a directive by President Uhuru Kenyatta has seen approximately 3,000 motorcycles confiscated across the country. Zainab Said now reports.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i and his Information Communication and Technology counterpart Joe Musheru met crime journalists and noted the boda sector has offered a source of income to millions of Kenyans and not all operators are criminals.
Problem number one, total breakdown of the regulation of the sector. No regulation at all. The sector grew faster than the regulatory frameworks. So you have no established schools, you have no established certification system, you have no established way of processing these people.
Obviously, we've come together because of some of the challenges we are seeing in the boda sector. But you know, it's not the only sector we are having challenges. I think, is fake news a crime? And if it is, maybe on your website you should be the first ones to flag things as fake or not fake.
Matiang'i says the country is seeking to adopt best practices on how to run the sector.
Let's first of all begin a regulatory framework. Let us start licensing them. And then from there, let us also start insisting on training so that you are trained. Because you see, when you are trained, you are better off.
Meanwhile, the boda operators in Kisii County have lauded the ongoing crackdown, promising to cooperate with security officers to weed out rogue operators.
Kwa heshima kuu Mheshimiwa Rais, uweze kutuonea huruma sisi kama wazazi, utuonee huruma, utuongeze masiku ili tuketi chini na viongozi wa serikali, tuketi chini na viongozi wa boda, tuweze kuweka mikakati chinzi ya kufuata hizi sheria na kila mwana boda aweze kuingia kwa sako ili tusije tukashuhudia matendo mabaya kama yale yalitendeka Nairobi.
Their sentiments coming as Kisii County Commissioner Alan Masharia issued a warning to non-compliant operators.
For the border riders, as they carry us, as they carry our goods, we should also encourage them to abide by the traffic rules.
In the proposed reforms, all boda operators have to be members of a SACCO. Currently, there are more than 250,000 registered boda SACCOs in the country. For Prime Edition, I'm Zainab Said.
All right, then now ODM leader Raila Odinga has defended his recent madoa remarks at a rally in Wajir, saying the remarks have been taken out of context. Odinga says he was only urging locals in Wajir to elect aspirants seeking office under the Azimio banner and reject candidates not affiliated to the coalition. The National Cohesion and Integration Commission, that's the NCIC, has however summoned the ODM leader to formally appear before it and make further clarifications on that particular statement, which is considered hate speech. Wycliffe Okech has more details on this.
ODM leader Raila Odinga was in the lakeside city of Kisumu to rally his supporters behind Azimio la Umoja. But hanging above Odinga's head was summons by the National Cohesion and Integration Commission over a phrase that has previously landed politicians in trouble, madoa.
Candidates wote ambao walikuwa wote ni wa Azimio. Wakasema ati Wajir ni Azimio zone. Na mimi nikasimama nikatoa pongezi. Nikasema ya kama Wajir ni Azimio zone, hakuna madoa.
Meru Senator Mithika Linturi had also previously found himself hard-pressed to explain the context of his remarks when he urged residents of Singishu to reject any madoa in their midst. NCIC says the term is distasteful and must be avoided at all costs.
Sikumaanisha ya kwamba tutaki kabila lingine kule Wajir. Kwa hivyo kama kuna mtu yeyote ambaye hakunielewa vizuri, ambaye ameona makosa, mimi niambie pole sana.
On Friday, Odinga told his backyard that his 10-point agenda includes a massive transformation of agriculture, education and healthcare sectors.
That's the reason why we are supporting Baba to become the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya. It's not for any other reason, but because of his progressive agenda for the Republic of Kenya.
Miaka yake yote akiwa mtu wa umri wa makamu, Raila amepigania masharti ya mnyonge. Tafadhali tekeleza, waonyeshe wengine inawezekana. Tumefika hapa kusema ya kwamba wakati wa mabadiliko umefika katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Na ndio sababu sisi tuko na azimio la umoja.
On Saturday, the Azimio la Umoja coalition is expected to endorse Raila Odinga as its presidential flag bearer.
Tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8, mimi na Wakikuyu na wale wote wa mlima tutapanga foleni namna hii, tushikane na ninyi, tumchague Raila Amolo Odinga. We are going to deliver 100% from Nyanza.
Tarehe 9 mutoke kama siafu. Sisi kama Central tunasema tunatoka kama Dhuaku.
Sisi kama watu wa baba hapa Nyanza ni kujitokeza mpaka yule mtu wa mwisho, tumpigie baba kura up to the last man. Tunataka gavana awe ni wa Azimio, wabunge wawe ni Azimio, seneta wawe ni Azimio, MCA wawe ni Azimio.
The campaign said all preparations are complete and the road to August 9 will officially begin with all the important declaration.
In what happens to be his last meeting in the region before the official launch of the Azimio la Umoja movement tomorrow, the ODM leader Raila says his 10-point agenda will be able to spur development in the region and by extension in the entire country, even as he called the electorate from the region to come out in their large numbers and vote for him in the August 9 polls. Weekly Footage is a Friday from Kisumu County.
And still focusing in politics, Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has given the strongest hint yet that he is once again prepared to shelve his presidential ambitions.
Now, speaking after formally signing the One Kenya Alliance agreement, Kalonzo has said that he has made sacrifices before and will not hesitate to do so again for the sake of the country.
Gladys Mungai with details about the construction of the proverbial three-legged political stool and its relevance in the August 9th political matrix. Take a look.
The One Kenya Alliance is officially a coalition after the principals signed a binding agreement that will see 6 political parties work together heading into the August polls. The move is also seen as a step in the right direction for Kalonzo Musyoka as he seeks to amass some much-needed political capital.
We don't want to be told this is predetermined. We want total openness, mutual respect, and equality. So that if we cede ground, we cede because we think this is the thing to do, not with a gun to our head.
Those of us who believe in the same ideals to come, share together, share everything to make sure that we change, transform the lives of our people.
Kalonzo appearing to have softened his stance over the ongoing political succession.
That we have had serious introspection, serious debate with regard to the prevailing political situation in our country. And we have no doubt in our minds that this country is more important than any of us. And we have made sacrifices before. We are ready to make more sacrifices. But we also expect the Kenyans will know that no individual is indispensable.
Friday's landmark decision is a culmination of a political back and forth that had threatened to drive a wedge between the OCA affiliate parties. For One Kenya Alliance, Friday's political marriage makes it an equal partner in any negotiation it undertakes moving forward.
We will talk to other formations similar to ours, but that does not put a lead on us also going it alone. We are still open, we are still discussing. There are things that are going on, and we believe if they go on well, we will be a bigger team. If not, This is a good representation of the Republic of Kenya.
In the agreement signed on Friday, the Farmers' Party and the Movement for Democracy and Growth became the new entrants and will expect their rightful stake in the jostle for political space.
We have said that even as we join Azimio, we will go with this truth into Azimio. We will not go there and sit there like house girls or flower girls. We will go with these demands into Azimio. That there are some basic things that we must allow as a people for us to get the benefits of our taxes.
We want to see a country where people compete on programs. Yeah, people compete on programs, not who is more loyal than the other.
You have our commitment as part of this coalition that we will do our best to popularize the coalition, to popularize our manifesto and our vision of one Kenya.
Prior to the arrangement, there had been some growing concerns that some parties were dragging the process in pursuit of personal political scores.
All right, it's the political season, and we, of course, expect a whole lot of politics to go on ahead of the 9th August elections. So we are going to be bringing you up to date, keeping you up to date on all those details as they unravel. We're going to take a quick breather. Our sign language interpreter.
Absolutely, and of course not to forget to mention our sign language interpreter, Byron Abuli. For now, let's just take that short commercial break. We'll be back in just a moment. Keep watching Easy Friday, only on KBC Channel 1.
Get Romans chapter 10 as your skiza tune on your phone. Dial star 811 star 962 hash.
If you declare with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. Romans chapter 10 verse 9.
To get Romans chapter 10, dial star 811 star 962 hash. Star 811 star 962 hash.
All right, and a warm welcome back. This is Easy Friday. Let's continue the bit of the politics of the day, where Senate Speaker Ken Lusaka says he will reclaim the Bungoma gubernatorial seat in the August 9th polls.
Now, speaking in Bungoma, where he launched his bid, Lusaka said he will work with Ford Kenya leader Moses Wetangula.
Lusaka will be facing Governor Wycliffe Wangamati, who ousted him in 2017.
The Kenya Kwanza Brigade, led by Ford Kenya party leader Moses Wetangula, was at poster grounds in Bungoma to drum up support for Senate Speaker Ken Lusaka.
Nimetembea hapa nikisikia wananchi wa Bungoma wakilia wakilalamika kwamba huyu mwenye niliwaachia kitu na sikumsumbua amejaribu bila ameweza, lakini hata miti yako, hata niwaulize, hata miti yako ikiwa sawa na ikuwa na nyoka utakaa hapo? Ndio nikasema hivi, wacha nirudi nyumbani.
Lusaka officially joined the Ford Kenya party, pledging to work with Wetangula ahead of the August 9 polls.
Kwa sababu kuna magari mengi ambayo ningetumia inipeleke mahali nataka kwenda, kwa sababu pia inaelekea huko, lakini nimechukua chama cha Ford Kenya kwa sababu kumbuka kwamba chama hiki kiko na historia na sisi.
The Kenya Kwanza Brigade, led by Deputy President William Ruto, will tour Meru and Tharaka Nithi counties on Saturday. Ben Chumba, Easy Friday.
Now it's that time where we talk about all things culture, and deep down the slopes of the vast Taita Hills at the heart of the Mwafunja Ngomenyi clan of Wundanyi lies the Skull Caves.
Now reporter Juni Karisa unravels the cultural values associated with the caves and how members of this clan pay respect to the dead and appease the ancestors.
Take a look.
Taita Taveta County, located 140 kilometers from Mombasa town, boasts of a diverse geographical semi-arid field coupled with a rich ecosystem and home to distinctive wildlife across the East African region, a breathtaking sight to behold. At the heart of the Taita people, also known as Dawida, and deep down the slopes of Wundanyi in Taita Taveta County lies belong to the Mwafunja Ngomenyi clan. We arrive in Mwazo location, our mission to learn more about their cultural significance. Far from what we expected, we were informed of a fee we are required to pay before going down the hill to the caves, including other conditions. So we return without accomplishing our mission. 1 week later, we are set to give it a fresh attempt, having addressed the fee concern. But when we call our contacts to inform them of our readiness, we are slapped with another unique condition. We should ensure none of us has shared a bed with their spouse at least 2 days prior to visiting the caves. Alas, the day is finally here. We are received by 2 village heads who guide our walk down the cave, and no mean feat indeed. After 45 minutes, we get to the entrance of the cave. And we are taken through the laid down rules and regulations.
Kabla tujaingia hapa nyumbani, lazima tufanye maombi ili tukiingia hapo mtu yote asipatwe na janga lolote. Tunapoingia hapa ndani huwa tuvai viatu. Kwa hivyo tukitoka hapa, tukiingia hapa ndani, kila mtu awe ametoa nini? Ametoa viatu.
From here we wait for chanting prayers, and this is how it goes.
Alomba, Morio. Daran bai. Vandu kapma apkaye na pinana. Vandu wende sikirane. Ndungu sebo ne mbako saya. Vake nyibedu wende bacha Vukavu wende pinana. Sena wende vuwe. Ya, benje mala kimbiri. Wende biche. Eh.
2 spits of the local Mbagara brew as well as a few chants are enough to appease the saints to grant us access into the holding area. Time to proceed to respective entry points depending on gender. Having removed our shoes, we proceeded to offer a goat sacrifice, another ritual to appease the saints, but this time the men have to be separated from the women. The goat must be strangled to get the intestines, which the seer uses to encode or interpret the communication from the saints. After they are carefully dissected out of the goat's belly, they are handed over to a seer while the rest of the meat is roasted.
Tueleza mahali tunalekea sawa, ama kuna mahali tumekosea, ama tuna mafanikio yote.
A quick study by the seer, who plays the role of the messenger between the saints and the locals, reveals the answers we have been waiting for.
Katika upande wao, katika hii kizazi yao walikuwa wanatafuta, hapa kumekufa kote hapa. Naona hapa hivi. Lakini huyu mama, hii huwa kwetu tunaiita ni mama, ni mama wa kitambo sasa. Mkamsenge. Mkamsenge hii hapa ngwa nyodo. Ni titi hili. Liko limejaa tena limejaa vizuri. Vile walikuwa wanaangalia mambo yao yako sawa si mabaya, imekubalika. lakini katika matambiko ya kitamaduni ya Kitaita wanawake hawaruhusiwi kwenda hapo. Kwa nini? Kwa kutoa hiyo nini matambiko ya kutumia pombe ya kienyeji.
We now have the right to access the caves, accompanied by 3 village elders. We're about to enter the skull caves. Tradition continues. Join me next week as we explore the Mwafunja Ngomenyi shrines. I'm Juni Karisa Mbele for My Culture.
Look forward to the My Culture segment because there's just so much to learn about the different tribes and, you know, things that you've not heard of ever.
Yeah, Taita was the focus today. I have some friends of mine from Taita. One of them is Emmanuel Mwashumbe, Alex Mwaki. They always say something they always say, Kenya Shambo, something. We'll have to learn more about that. A good one at that. Many thanks indeed for watching. Let's continue the bulletin tonight.
Right, now 35 military officers drawn from Kenya, Ghana and Uganda are undertaking a 2-month training at the Humanitarian Peace Support School in Embakasi, Nairobi, to equip them with skills to operate machinery needed during peacekeeping missions.
Now, the Triangular Partnership Project is a collaboration between the Kenya and Japanese governments. According to the project's coordinator, that's Major Stephen Charo, the program launched in 2015 has facilitated training and subsequent deployment of hundreds of military officers to complement peacekeeping efforts across Africa and beyond.
Operations, because in any peacekeeping setup, the first thing is actually to construct the construction of FOBs where peacekeepers can stay in a safe environment, and also to open up main supply routes that resupply the troops in the field. We've deployed so many troops into the mission areas, and from the feedback that we are getting from the mission areas, this kind of training really assists.
Now, moving on, women and youth have been urged to take loans from financial empowerment funds such as Uwezo Fund to start businesses which boost their economic status.
And our Kiharu Member of Parliament, Dede Nyoro, says this is one of the best ways of creating sustainable job opportunities which will result in improved living standards.
This and more news in our county roundup by Jelis Aladi.
Kiharu Member of Parliament Didi Nyoro says use of kitties such as the Uwezo Fund is one of the best ways of creating sustainable job opportunities which will result in improved living standards. More than 200 residents from Kiharu constituency have benefited from Uwezo funds from the Kiharu NGCDF.
Na Uwezo Fund imeweza kusaidia vikundi mingi sana hapa mashinani, na ndio maana pia tunajumuisha Uwezo Fund na pia Women Fund na pia Youth Fund ndio wafanye kazi kwa taratibu.
Elsewhere, about 60 to 70,000 Kenyans visit Togoto Eye Clinic annually, where different types of eye infection are detected and treated. Speaking during the launch of Glaucoma Awareness Week, it was revealed that 20 patients were diagnosed with glaucoma symptoms in the Togoto mission alone.
Other diseases of the eye can cause glaucoma, such as refractive errors, that is a spectacle, issues to do with spectacles, as well as inflammation of the eyes, trauma to the eyes. So there are many eye diseases that can also cause the pressures to go up.
In Kilifi, County Commissioner Kuta Olaka has ordered police officers to arrest all the false prophets operating in the region. Kuta says the false prophets are among those advocating for the killing of elderly residents for allegedly practicing witchcraft.
Hatutakubali wazee wauawe kwa kuwasukumia mambo ya uchawi, ati kwa sababu vijana wanataka shamba liuzwe wanunue pikipiki waende kuwa bodaboda. Si ukweli ni huo? Wasikae miongoni mwa hao wananchi ndio wazee wakuja wauawe. Kesho jioni itakuwa na nyinyi, ikifika over the weekend Jumatatu hao waganga wao wanapelekwa kotini.
Finally, Transparency International Kenya has launched Uwazi Mashinani to empower communities to demand for equity. Speaking during the launch, Transparency International Kenya Western Regional Manager Elizabeth Duya said the agricultural program provides an opportunity for more impactful change at the grassroots.
This project is seeking to enhance citizen participation and county governance process in planning, complaints management, and public finance management.
Jelis Aladi for Easy Friday.
Are you an aspiring candidate in the upcoming general elections? Do you want your agenda and manifesto to reach your voters effectively? At KBC, we have the most comprehensive and credible online platform that has profiles of all prospective candidates. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants and let Kenyans know more about you, your past achievements, your manifesto, and your development agenda once you get elected to office. What's more, the website is easy to navigate. We will create your profile, post pictures and short videos with your campaign messages at affordable hosting fees. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants today and establish your brand authority as we lead towards the forthcoming general elections.
What about you?
Me, what?
What do you think of me?
Nothing.
Nothing is good. At least you're thinking of me.
The only person who speaks proper pure English in this entire institution is me, Theophilus Atito.
And where is your proper English gotten you?
By the way, Atito, today you look very fresh and refurbished.
Rejuvenate.
Then if the new teacher is beautiful and eloquent as you say, then she must be giving Lady Antibella sleepless nights.
Wait, Kinyajui. Yes. You mean you can, are you serious, Kinyajui? Yes. So you mean he can, Kinyajui, so I can give you a... No.
Thank you for staying with us. Time now to take a look at the latest in business. My name is Carol Jenga. The Kenya Revenue Authority says it has collected more than 8 billion shillings through the iWhistle platform in the second half of 2021. The authority says under the period, more than 1,500 cases of tax evasion were lodged using the system. KRA launched the web-based anonymous reporting solution in 2020 that enables the public to anonymously report and provide tax crime leads.
The Kenya Revenue Authority developed the iWhistle solution as part of the agency's drive to close revenue leakages through multiple tax evasion schemes. Through the online portal, the public can anonymously report failure by taxpayers to pay customs duty, tax fraud, concealment, misdeclaration, smuggling of goods, failure by taxpayer to submit tax returns by due date, manufacturing of counterfeit goods, among others.
Our attendance here is basically our outreach to our taxpayers, to our customers. Our taxpayers are our customers. As our outreach strategy to talk about what it is that we do at KRA, how we reach out to the customers, the processes, the platforms, the enablement that we are doing for our customers and our taxpayers. Is number one, again, using the public media, reaching out to our taxpayers, be it through newspapers, be it through every other radio station that you have in this country or TV station in whatever language that is spoken in Kenya.
KRA Commissioner for Corporate Support Services, Dr. David Kinu, says the authority is reviewing its tax collection strategies with the aim of enhancing customer satisfaction and facilitating tax compliance.
Si kama Wakenya vile tumefanya kwa kila taxpayer yoyote ambaye amekuja kwetu na kuna ugumu ama amepata shida fulani ama kidogo ya kulipa au ushuru, tuko na ile ambayo tunaita alternative dispute resolution. Anakuja kwetu, tunakaa chini, tunaongea, anatuambia vile anaweza lipa, halafu tunapatana ama tunashika mkakati ambao tunaita a payment plan.
KRA further says it's putting in place a robust service governance framework, which includes instituting a comprehensive complaints management framework, automation of key services, and engaging other stakeholders in customer satisfaction.
All the services we have a service charter. The service charter is both in English and Swahili, so that all Kenyans and all citizens are able to know their rights and what to demand when they walk into KRA. Further, our work is primarily to drive performance and professionalism in the discipline of customer experience.
As a result of these initiatives, revenue performance has continued to improve in the recent past, with Kenya shillings 139 billion being collected in the month of February year 2022. For Easy Friday from Mombasa County, I'm Michael Mondega.
Kenyan youth with disabilities can now access tailor-made courses that will equip them with skills that will give them access into the job market. The Ministry of Labour is scaling up a skills development program targeting youth living with disabilities to increase their employability.
The unemployment rate in Kenya increased to 6.6% in the first quarter of 2021 against 5.4% in the previous quarter. Unemployment in Kenya is attributed to a number of factors that include rapid growth of the labor force, skills mismatch, information problems in the labor market, structural adjustment programs, slow or declining economic growth, and the labor market setup. National Industrial Training Authority rolled out a program to equip youth living with disabilities with skills in ICT. Speaking during graduation ceremony at NITA, Labour CS Simon Chelugui said that the hard economic times have negatively impacted the employment rates due to the various sanctions such as lockdown that hindered importation and export of goods, which further led to loss of jobs. He said that the program targeting youth living with disabilities will be rolled out across the country.
So if we got more partners, we can scale up. As NITA, our agency NITA, has 5 colleges. We can utilize the 5 colleges and we can also accredit other organizations who have similar infrastructure to train.
We have other special needs persons with us training under agility, and these are people taking courses in food and beverage beyond IT. So we're actually opening other trade programs to absorb other special needs persons.
NITA has received funding to a tune of 40 million shillings that was utilized for equipment, maintaining of the beneficiaries and refurbishing of hostels. The second recruitment will see 50 students benefit.
Institutions are coming together to promote inclusivity at workplace for the persons with disabilities. But what is the government doing to ensure that the vast majority of the unemployed youth gain work opportunities? Reporting for Easy Friday, I am Teresa Mutai.
We cross over now to farming, where farmers have been advised to only plant clean certified seeds to mitigate against the high fertilizer costs. The Kenya Seed MD, Fred Oilebe, says only planting of clean seeds will reduce the cost of food production, adding that the government has purchased enough seeds to last this planting season.
The cost of fertilizer has spiraled out of reach for many farmers, with a 50 kg bag of DAP retailing at an average of 6,500 shillings in many parts of the country. The Ministry of Agriculture warns that the price might further increase and cross the 7,000 shillings mark due to the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war and reduced fertilizer production in China in the past 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Kiwa na serikali kuu inajaribu kutatua, kwa sababu hii ni global crisis. Maneno ya Kenya ni maneno ya dunia mzima.
Waangalie mambo ya mbolea, maana kweli serikali mkikaa hivi mkinyamaza na mkitutupa hivi, chakula kitakuwa wapi?
Mbolea mbegu hatuna shida sana, tunaona hiko Kenya Seed na bei sio mbaya sana, lakini mbolea ndio shida yetu kabisa.
To mitigate against the escalating costs, the government is asking farmers to consider purchasing only certified clean seed from licensed stores to minimize the impact of limited use of fertilizer.
Penda situations ya kwamba wakulima wanapata ile mbegu ile mbaya.
All genuine seed packets will be emblemed with Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Service Mark and coded to ascertain genuine products.
Kwa ile 25 kg na 10 kg tunakuanga na label ya KEFIS yenye iko kwa hiyo mifuko. Kwa ile 2 kg tuko na ile mahali una scratch alafu una confirm genuineness ya hiyo seed.
This as the government says it has purchased enough clean seed to last the coming planting season.
Kulingana na vile imesemekana hali ya anga, tutakuwa na mvua ya kutosha, so kila mtu ajitayarishe kununua mbegu ndio apande kwa wakati unaofaa.
Benson Roba reporting for Easy Friday.
Vandals have struck Kenya's critical infrastructure again, disrupting the construction of the 63-kilometer high-voltage power line to Narok County. The Vision 2030 project, which started in 2019, is expected to stabilize the power supply to Narok County, continues to experience serious power disruptions. According to the Kenya Electricity Transmission Company, vandals struck in Narasha area on the border of Narok and Naivasha, cutting away over 3,000 meters of the transmission cables and other critical components.
Vandalism of critical state infrastructure has crippled some sectors of the economy, crippling economic activities. In the last 6 months, criminals have disrupted power lines transport on the standard gauge line, highway infrastructure, among others. President Uhuru Kenyatta in January 2022 banned scrap metal business to curb the vice. However, the move appears to have done little to dissuade vandals targeting critical infrastructure nestled in the country's rural areas.
Before we were doing, we reported everything to Suswa police station, and after all, theft started again. Walikuwa wanaiba siku moja, wanakaa siku mbili. Tuseme wanaiba kwa kuanzia kwa hii tawa mpaka ile. Wanaiba kwa hiyo tawa, wanakaa siku mbili. Wanakaa siku mbili tena, wanaiba kwa hiyo tawa ingine.
In the latest incident, vandals have hit sections of the 68-kilometer 132 kilovolt double circuit transmission line from Olkaria to Narok in Narasha area on the border of Narok and Naivasha, cutting away over 3,000 meters of transmission cables. The high voltage line, funded by the government of Kenya and the African Development Bank AFDB, was set to increase electricity access within Narok County and its surrounding areas.
Kama inawezekana, serikali ifuatilie kwa umakinifu, ijue ni nani ambaye anahusika katika hii wizi, ni nani ambaye anapelekewa hizi makebles, si ati ni hapa Maimayu.
Kitraku says the line will transform the areas into attractive locations of agro-based and general industries thus going a long way in supporting devolved governments. Residents say strangers have so far been successful in cutting away materials worth millions of shillings in unknown cars, even as the government moves to intensify criminal dragnets.
Wafukuza wengine walibeba cable ya internet hadi tukawashika Suswa, na watu walitoka Nairobi Githurai. So it seems not people from this area.
Narok County and surrounding areas have been hit by power fluctuations that has been experienced between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m, affecting industries and local businesses. The line has been under construction since July 2019 by China CMC Engineering Company Limited. Alanako, Prime Edition.
And that story by Alan Aoko brings to a close business news for tonight. Have a great weekend. My name is Carol Jenga. See you next week.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
Be right here. Be right here. You invested millions of shillings doing something that won't even help you in future.
I will never support a stupid career that you wasted my money on behind my back.
You will make a perfect doctor, just like your grandfather. Apparently, Len is missing.
So, I am not sick.
You have a problem.
You drink too much. I am not going to work with an artist who doesn't know his priorities. I want my drink. I want your drink. Where is my drink? I want to be right here. Be right here.
All right, time for us to speak sports tonight. The national deaf handball team has intensified preparations at Nyayo National Stadium ahead of the Deaf Olympic Games to be held in Caxias do Sul, that's in Brazil, in May this year. Deaf Handball Federation of Kenya Secretary General Johnston Mutua said they're going to Latin America as competitors for the handball title.
The national deaf handball team has intensified preparations for the Deaf Olympic Games to be held in Brazil in May, with their main aim winning the title. Analyzing the championship, Secretary General Johnston Mutua believes there is more to come from Kenya if only deaf handballers are empowered with more resources. A total of 18 players for each side will be selected by latest April, when the residential camp is expected to conclude. Apart from handball, other ball games in which Kenya has qualified for the quadrennial competition are women football, as well as men and women basketball teams. Deaf Athletics Association of Kenya on Wednesday listed 44 athletes who qualified for the global event, scheduled to run from May 1st to 15th, following the conclusion of the two-day trials at the Nyayo National Stadium.
Right now, the Badminton World Federation Council has allowed Kenya to participate in this year's Commonwealth Games to be held in Birmingham. This follows an appeal by the National Olympic Committee of Kenya to allow the Kenyan players compete despite the suspension, which is still in place.
Kenya has been allowed to send a badminton team to the Commonwealth Games after the World Federation allowed the team to play despite the suspension handed to the Kenyan Federation. The National Olympic Committee of Kenya held a meeting with representatives of the badminton national team to inform the players of the Badminton World Federation's decision to allow them compete at the Birmingham Commonwealth Games. The badminton players will have 2 open tournaments where 8 players, both female and male, will be selected to head to 3 tournament trials. The Kenyan Federation was suspended indefinitely by the world body last year until warring parties at Badminton Kenya are able to organize fair and transparent elections in line with BWF requirements. Badminton Kenya became the second federation to be suspended last year by an international sporting organization after the Swimming Federation of Kenya.
Tournament, we've been informed by the players that in the last 1 year there have not been very many tournaments by which we could get rankings from the players, and therefore there'll be 2 tournaments, and the dates and venues will be announced later.
All right, now KCB RFC head coach Curtis Olago says the team is shifting focus to the upcoming Kenya Cup playoff against Strathmore Leos and other competitions this season after exiting the Kenya Cup in the semis. Olago admits the squad is strong and ready for the upcoming tournaments, including the Enterprise Cup set for March 19th on the 7th circuit, which will begin in May. The Kenya Cup final will be played in Kakamega, where 6-time finalists Kabra Sugar will be looking to secure their second Kenya Cup title. This will be against Menengai Oilers, who will be going for their maiden title. KCB will be in action tomorrow at the Ruaraka Sports Club against Strathmore Leos. They will go against, they'll be facing a week later. Of course, that's in the Enterprise elimination stage.
KCB has a game model, first and foremost. The game model is not based on age, it's based on skill set, first and foremost. So that is not our problem. Our problem is executing what we want to execute for the season, and always making sure that we keep improving on our skill set.
All right, then let's cross borders. And if you've been following the Russia-Ukraine invasion, it has had an effect, of course, on the Chelsea team by the fact that Chelsea is owned by Roman Abramovich, who is a staunch supporter of Vladimir Putin. Now, bring that to football. Chelsea, they put their off-field problems behind them as goals from Trevor Chalobah, Mason Mount and Kai Havertz gave them a 3-1 win against bottom side Norwich in a Premier League match played at Carrow Road Stadium. Meanwhile, Newcastle extended their unbeaten run to 9 matches with a 2-1 win over Southampton. That's at St Mary's.
Powerful strike past Tim Krul. Pukki scored from the spot with 20 minutes to go, but Chelsea put the game to bed through another of Havertz's top corner strikes in the dying minutes of the game. Ares sent a powerful backheel volley into the roof of the net to earn the visitors a 6th victory in 7.
All right, now that said, as we come to the end of sports, just to let you know that it's a big weekend in the EPL. Liverpool is in action tomorrow. They have a game in hand. 6 points separate them. That's against Manchester City, and there's a whole lot of hopes from Manchester City fans that Liverpool draw points. A big one again tomorrow. Manchester United will be hosting Tottenham. Well, are they going to be like this time around? That's the Red Devils. Time will tell. It's a wrap on the Easy Friday, at least for the first bit of the bulletin. We're crossing over to the spotlight. Shiksha, Arora is on the other side of the studio. Shiksha, time for me to let you take it away from this point on. What are we looking at?
Thank you so much, Kago. So tonight we break the bias. I'll be speaking to two very powerful women. We'll be talking about their journeys, some of the struggles that they've encountered being women, plus their respective industries and the things that they're doing that just make them so powerful. But before we get to that, DJ Koljak's on the other side of the studio. Remember, he'll be joining us at 10:30 for Disco Funk. So DJ Koljak's looking forward to hearing those old jams. So tonight I've got, as I said, very powerful women. You don't want to miss out on this. The hashtag is Easy Friday at KBC Channel 1 at Shiksha Arora. I'll catch you soon.
Good one.
Are you an aspiring candidate in the upcoming general elections? Do you want your agenda and manifesto to reach your voters effectively? At KBC, we have the most comprehensive and credible online platform that has profiles of all prospective candidates. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants and let Kenyans know more about you, your past achievements, your manifesto, and your development agenda once you get elected to office. What's more, the website is easy to navigate. We will create your profile, post pictures and short videos with your campaign messages at affordable hosting fees. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants today and establish your brand authority as we lead towards the forthcoming general elections.
Differently abled, differently.
We are very privileged to announce that the next cohort of Innovate Now, which is the accelerator program, is officially launched and we are receiving applications.
Many people lose sight, they somehow give up in life, so we take them through an intensive program of guidance and counseling.
Me losing sight, it came as a result of the impact I had. So it resulted to something we call a retina detachment.
We're differently abled, differently.
You're making me go bananas, lose my manners. Girl, I love the way you misbehave. When you shake your body, don't hurt nobody, girl, cause I want you to myself. You're making me a mental case, but I can't do without you, girl. The way you wiggle it, baby girl, you're driving me crazy. Nakupenda nakutaka kisheti. Tongue tight na baki na stama. Paka nikikuona move onga gugu gaga huku paka kule ni wewe tu. Kiwa rapa mekubali tu ni wewe tu. Oh.
The way she looks at me, baby girl's making me miss my beat. She's everything that I desire. The way she move make my heart go on fire. So, baby, fire me, let's get it going. Fire me, wine when this tune. Fire me, I'm going psycho. Baby, fire me, let's get it going. Fire me, wine when this tune. Fire me, I'm going psycho. Psycho. Yeah. See your body moving, you make me go psycho. We'll be the straight up forever, my baby girl. Psycho. See your body moving, you make me go psycho. Speaking like Lou, you shall sing it.
Welcome back to the show, and let's begin with breaking the bias. Remember, this week we've been celebrating powerful women with stories that, need to be told. And for that, I've got two very powerful women in studio. We've got a doctor. Her name is Dr. Claire Kinuthia. She's been breaking the bias for a while by, talking about things that people usually shy away from speaking about, especially on social media. We've also got the very powerful Zambi, who really has been doing the most when it comes to the environment and how she wants to make a change. She wants to take things in her hands, and she's been doing that for the past 3 years. And she's also been recognized by the UNEP as well as the UN for being a game changer to the environment. So for that, thank you, ladies, for joining us. It has been an absolute pleasure just having you, both of you, on the same seat. I'm happy.
Thank you for having us.
A woman is happy. Happy International Women's Day to both of you.
Yeah, happy to you too. On to you too.
Right, so Dr. Claire Kinuthia, let's start with you. Just recently, you were mentioned by TikTok, just for being a very positive, leader. Especially as a doctor, there are some things that people shy away from speaking about. They think that we should be having these conversations in private, in a closed room, behind closed doors. But you went out in public and you've been talking about reproductive health issues for women. You've been talking about, sexual matters as well, and things that we don't really hear that often. So how does that make you feel?
It's very empowering and really just helps to propagate the narrative that we need to come out of our shells. We really need to, there's a thirst for information. There are things that have been decidedly called taboo for, all our lives. If you think about back in the day on television, on any platform, even online, you would talk about sexual health issues and everybody goes, oh, that one has no manners, that one has no shame. It's something we need to talk about more. And so when I went on social media, I found that big gap, and mostly because people ask questions. People reach out to me and they'll ask questions, and I'm like, okay, there's some very basic things we should be talking about. And it's just a matter of deciding to be the first one who is open about it. Then, of course, you also receive all the backlash.
Yes, of course.
But it's actually been less than what I expected, because a lot of parents have reached out and said, thank you for talking about this, because now I have a tool to talk to my child about. If I want to talk about sexual health issues, if I want to talk about reproductive health issues, we can watch your videos together and then we start the conversation. So I think that's a beautiful thing.
Amazing. And Zambi, you are one of the first women, I believe, in Kenya, of course, after Professor Wangari Maathai, who are really making that change in the environment. And you've really gone the extra mile. In 2020, you were named the game changer. Of course, it was a title that was given to you by the UNEP for the project, which basically included changing and transforming and recycling plastic into concrete bricks. How does that make you feel? You're the first of your generation who is really making that change in society.
First of all, I'm honored. It was a huge moral boost, just because we've been doing this for, now this is the 6th year.
Wow.
But we took about 3 years in research and development.
Yes.
And so it was a really big boost. In addition to that, it was also, it opened us a lot to different markets, both local and international. And also it helped us and catalyzed us to the next level. So what we do right now, in Jijenge, we recycle plastic waste into pavers, in Kenya popularly known as cabros. But right now in the research and development phase to make an actual building block, because our goal is to be able to impact, and not just impact, but disrupt the affordable housing space. Because there's a demand of about 2 million units, and every single year, this number increases with 200,000.
Absolutely.
And so we need to do something, and reducing the cost is our first step.
Lovely, love to hear it. Claire, what are some of the questions that you get when it comes to reproductive health, and some of the challenges that you've encountered along the way? You said backlash has been one of the things that you are expecting, because you're the first of your kind to make that step to impacting the society in a very positive way. What are some of the challenges that you've encountered?
The biggest challenge, of course, is it's medical conversations. So a lot of people are on social media because it's supposed to be entertaining. We're looking for what's happening, what's hot, if we're
what's trending, what's viral.
Exactly, it's everything about that. So the biggest challenge was actually building an audience, just because you start to talk something medical and everyone goes, okay, I'm not in class, I'm not interested. But then more and more people were reaching out, especially so in private, in the DMs, and wanting to find out, when you talk about this issue, I've had this kind of an issue, so can you address that as well? So I started to see, okay, there is a gap. Let me refine and change the way I present the topics. And that's why TikTok has done so well, because they're much shorter videos. It's trendy because you keep up with the trends, and it's pushed me out of my own box, because again, doctors tend to be very conservative, and so just getting out of my own headspace and not being so stiff anymore, and actually playing along with the different kind of songs and the different kind of trends that are happening has helped to overcome a lot of that in terms of being a challenge.
And you know, this year's theme for International Women's Day is actually breaking the bias. And the reason why I thought both of you were perfect for this conversation is because you're both breaking the bias in your respective fields. Dr. Claire, you know, when you say that doctors are usually supposed to be very conservative and very traditional and, you know, stiff and rigid, when I see you, I don't see any of that, which is amazing, because, you know, it just goes on to show that you're here to make that change and to be the first of many. Right? In the West, we see very many doctors talking about these topics that are taboo right here in Kenya. So when you started, is this something that initiated this change in you to go out there and try and have these hard conversations?
Yes, because we have a huge gap between the knowledge pool within the doctors and the medical personnel and our patients. And generally, it's because we refuse to talk to people at their level, like to help you understand the issues. Everyone wants to talk medical jargon. You come into clinic and I'm talking at you instead of to you, and having that conversation. And a lot of times it's more an issue where somebody comes in and they're feeling shy because they feel shame around the topic. And I work in reproductive and sexual health, being an obstetrician and gynae, so it becomes difficult to help you get better if you're not being honest about what you've come in with or what your concerns actually are. So I started to see that gap and say, you know what, it's scary to be the first. It's scary because on the one hand, my colleagues will take me less seriously. Yes. I've had some call me a socialite, others have told me you're the kasupu of the group, and I'm like, that's so unfair, because already as a woman I struggle with so much bias in the workplace.
Absolutely.
Because it's supposed to be like really has always traditionally been male dominated. So coming out of it and then saying, no, I'm okay being feminine, but more so I'm going to talk about taboo topics. Then more people went, ooh, okay, you're a hot potato, we don't want anything to do with you, which is ironic because we need to have these conversations. So it's more of just deciding, you know what's the worst that can happen? My patients come in and we continue to have very open conversations, and it breaks that bias, the barrier between the doctor and the patient. And if you're unable to talk to somebody, I have also had videos where I teach you what to do when you come in to see your doctor. It should be teamwork. It shouldn't be you come and I talk at you. Come in with questions. Let's address your issues. Let's be honest about your issues, because if you can't be honest with your doctor, who are you going to be honest to?
100%.
Right.
Zambi, you know, we already know how you're breaking the bias. You're here to make a change. What are some of the things that you are doing in your field to break the bias as an environmentalist?
I think the first one is to actually put value to waste.
Okay.
That's because waste, and especially plastic waste, has for the longest time been disregarded, especially because after you use your single-use plastics, you don't see value of it anymore.
Yes.
And so the idea is, how do we extract the value through establishing a really good ecosystem to the point where you actually are necessitated to recycle the plastic? Because what we have realized in Kenya, unfortunately, most of the population live below the poverty line. And it is with this, then when someone doesn't have basic food, shelter and clothing, honestly speaking, environmental matters will be the last thing they will ever think of.
On the priority list.
Exactly. And so how we're making it is, how do we make economics, waste plastic make economic sense? Because we've realized once you instigate that element, then you start making sense. And so for that, what we're doing is trying to really extract as much value and giving it another life cycle, hence making economic sense.
Amazing. Have you ever encountered a place where people don't take you seriously because of the way you look, because of, you know, your personality? I know you personally as well. You're a very fun, friendly person. So when you start talking serious matters, they look at you and they're like, what is she saying? Do you know?
Yes and no. Okay. Yes, unfortunately, in my case, I work with very, like in the engineering space, it's and especially in construction, is almost 90% male
dominated.
And by the virtue of when you wear that overall, it kind of like puts it on like a default setting, and so you kind of don't have that much bias. The bias only comes when you remove that overall.
I like that.
So I kind of hide on that. On the other flip side of things is yes, because it's one side to have this bubbly personality, but it's another thing to actually tackle a problem that it's not just us, but a generational problem.
100%.
Because I can promise you, I am not looking forward to solve this plastic problem in this generation. I am sure. This is a battle that my children's children, maybe even to the 7th generation, will be the ones to see it through.
Yes.
But I have to take the first step.
Amazing.
And so caring for what people say is actually the last thing that should be considered.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Claire, you know, you as well, I'm sure, like when you, as you mentioned, there's sometimes when people look at you and they don't expect you to say the things that you're going to say. They don't take you seriously just because of the way you look. So how have you countered that problem?
I'm one of those people who will take the bull by the horns. A lot of my patients will come in the first time and they go, when you're doctor, when you're the nurse, or you know, you don't taking my vitals. I came here to see a serious person. I came here to see a serious doctor. So it's more of, I actually come back to you with, how about a better approach I would suggest is ask about my qualifications. Am I qualified to be looking after you today? What certification do I have? What training do I have? That's a more objective conversation instead of looking at my size. I really can't decide my size. I work out a lot. I'm very small generally speaking. I practice what I preach, right?
Yes.
I want to be as fit and healthy as possible. Exactly. So I'm not going to then become overweight and upset with myself just to make me look more appealing as the doctor, the traditional doctor that you had in your mind. So it's more of just challenging people and not shying away from difficult topics, because again, that's why we are here in the first place, because we have biases, because we're always shying away. Somebody says something to you as a woman and you feel, okay, I have to push back. I can't talk about myself. I can't, okay, you've checked me about this, then what's the comeback? Or if you talk back, then you're aggressive, you're assertive, you're a bully, or all these things that we always told. So it's about challenging and changing the narrative one person at a time, and I think it will take us a long way.
Yeah, as Nzambi has mentioned as well, you know, the fact that you've already accepted that this change is not going to happen in this generation, but it will happen in the generations to come. And I feel like the way to handle this is just to basically take matters in your own hands, as both of you have done, and try and make a change.
But it's sometimes unfair that you have to prove your qualifications, you know, because no one will naturally enter into a doctor room with an old guy, fat belly and everything, and ask, hey, so what are you qualified? But so why does she have to
answer these questions?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but this is the world we live in.
It is, and which is why I feel like, you know, just having Women's Day is I feel the right way to go about it, because as much as women should be celebrated every single day, I feel like having one particular day is a good way to make that change, because now we're having these conversations. We're creating a space where women can actively just talk about the issues that we've encountered in the workspace, at home, you know, in our day-to-day lives, and get heard. Because most of the times, as women, when you say something, people don't take you seriously, or they don't really want to listen to you.
Exactly.
Right? So Nzambi, when you went to the UN and, you know, you were part of these big names out there, did you feel any sort of nervousness, and, you know, you were feeling a bit scared because of how big the stakes were at that moment?
Yes, because this is a whole new spectrum. This is a whole new realm. And I was fortunate enough to meet people who have been able to achieve a lot over the course of the years. And having to be in a position where the person I really look up to, the late Wangari Maathai, has been, it's honestly for me an honor.
Yes.
And my hope and prayer is, if nothing else, I do my fair part just as she did. And when my time on this earth is up, I pass the baton to the next generation. And so being in this position was both an honor and also a sense of responsibility, because then I'm put this mantle of, okay, now what do you do from there now?
Yes. What next?
Yes, exactly. So it was like a dual feeling. One way I'm like, yes. The other one I'm like, am I sure I can do it? But one step at a time, you know. One step at a time.
One step at a time.
Yes.
Absolutely. Dr. Claire, you know, when you speak to these young girls, when you speak to the girl child, when you have such open conversations with them, do you think that we need to be really in a space where we're having these conversations from a very young age? You know, we cultivate this attitude where you start speaking to your child at the age of 7, 8, 9, just so that there's a culture of them understanding what exactly it is to be, you know, sexually active, to have your reproductive health as one of your priorities in life as a woman, your menstrual health as well. So do you think this is something that you would like to, you know, start encouraging maybe the government to be doing?
So I'd even bring it down just to the home level before, because we always say government, but who is government? It's us. It's each and every one of us
Parents,
in society.
for instance.
So I would start with the homestead. As a parent, would you prefer your child learns these things from you, or from the dodgy neighbor, or from their peers who know nothing in school, or from a teacher who you're relying on but you're not checking the facts that they're giving your children? So I think start at home, have the conversations, be very age appropriate. You don't have to bombard a child with things they won't understand.
All the information.
Yeah, you don't have to. You just can build it up, and the earlier we start, the better. We are encouraging checkups from as early as 8 now. We have our girls developing much faster, and people who are having their menses very early on. And if you haven't talked, can you think about the first time you got your period? If you hadn't had a conversation about it, it was quite shocking. So if you don't have those conversations, that's where the shame comes from, if you ask me. In my opinion, if nobody told me about my period and the fact that it was going to start, and then I started bleeding, and it happened in school with no warning, it's a shameful process. And so from then on, for me, my period will always be a trigger.
A fearful experience.
Exactly. So if you're not having these conversations, then that's where we keep burying things under the sand. And then we have such issues in this country like teenage pregnancies. We have cases of molestation. We have the girl child going through so many struggles to do with something as natural as your period. We don't have sanitary wear. We don't have facilities for you to change safely, facilities for you to be able to make sure that your hygiene is good. These are things we can address from grassroots upwards, and that chain effect will actually result in positive benefits. Yeah.
Amazing. Zambi, when we talk about, you know, being the game changer when it comes to environment, right? You said that you really want to impact this particular generation and have a culture where people are thinking about the value that, you know, when you're, for example, when you're consuming plastic, for instance, straws, for instance, what next, right? What happens after you're done? So what would you like to tell the younger generation of today when they're just basically having their soda, for instance, or they're drinking juice with a straw? What would you tell the younger generation of today when consuming plastic?
So, well, the third law of Newton, motion, says for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah.
And in life we have the karma law, what goes around comes around. And so with that said and done, for every action we have to bear the consequences. It's only visible that we have seen what the generations that have gone ahead of us have, because right now the scientists are projecting by maybe 2050, if we continue at this rate and don't do anything, we'll have more plastic in the ocean than fish.
Yes.
So with that said and done, what do we do? If nothing else, for the bare minimum, let our generation in the future be able to see fish. Just to see fish. And because of that, we have to remove that one straw. We have to figure out, okay, what do we take it from there? And then also just everyone in general to just have that consciousness, because I believe it starts with the mindset.
Yes.
And then the next thing is the will. It's one thing to have the mindset, it's another thing to have the will to actually take this plastic and, for example, in your house, you don't have to be fancy. You can just take a gunny bag, gunia, and just sort recyclable and unrecyclable. Recyclable is anything that is metal, aluminum, plastic, wood, anything that can be used again, just put it in a gunny bag. And anything that is food, organic, and cannot be used, like your menses pads and everything, just put them in one bag. And when you go to the trash bin, just put it into separate bags. Just that, because, you know, the garbage collecting team, what they do is they do what we call rapid sorting within the truck. And so when they do the rapid sorting within the truck, they collect that which can be recycled, and that's what they bring to us, the recyclers. So why don't we make their work work easier, hence our work easier, hence being able to tackle as much plastic waste as we
possible.
can.
Amazing. You know, so when I lived in London, what you've mentioned is something that has really brought back memories to me, because they do have that system in place where they have the recyclable material, waste material, and the non-recyclable waste material. So as it is, you're already doing the work for, you know, people out there who will use this recyclable material to actually put use of it. And I feel like that's just something, that's a great place to start. So thank you for that tip. I feel like if you're watching at home, maybe this is something that we need to be putting into practice, and we can start there. Anything else that we could do apart from that?
Yes, reducing your straws. You don't have to drink every soda with a straw. Maybe a soda can, okay, fine. Okay. But if you can reduce the consumption of straw, reduce. The other thing is, if you can carry like a bottle that you can use over and over again for drinking water, do that. It is not, those are like really small things that will not cost you much, but the ripple effect is magnanimous.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. And what about you, Dr. Claire? You know, when you are out there giving advice to young women, when you are talking about these issues that have been stigmatized for the longest time, is there something, you know, that you would like to point out that you feel we need to be paying more attention to, apart from obviously reproductive health issues?
Just general wellness, and teaching it at a very early age, because we're now in a more Western type of culture, and our food is showing the ill effects from our food is starting to show. And so we have a lot of people becoming obese much younger, and then we start to see lifestyle diseases, diabetes, hypertension, and other types of diseases from a much younger age. And yet it could just be as simple as talking about what you consume, talking about your fitness and your wellness, and impacting it onto your children. Children copy. So even if you told me to exercise and mommy is always on the couch sitting back and relaxing, then that's the habit I'm going to pick up. Why should I be the one outside? So lead by example, take them along, have more sociable outings where you're actually getting engaged physically and trying to eat as healthy as possible. And just those basics, will start to see a big difference in some of the disease processes that we see when people get a bit older. We're not even looking at really old age. Everyone thinks when you get old is when you should start thinking about your health. Think about your car. If you don't service it as often as you should, according to the mileage, then it starts to break down and it actually deteriorates much faster.
100%.
And this is the same about your body. So if you are careful right from an early age, as a parent, take charge and teach your child. And leading by example, it's going to go a very long way. And I think just simple conversations, simplify everything. You don't have to think, okay, I need to understand. And this is where Google comes in. Everybody wants to Google a medical condition.
And then you get so scared.
Exactly. That's none of your business. That's my work. Come in and we'll have the conversation about what you're worried about with your health, and I'll help you understand what the condition is. You don't need to be a professor after you've had a diagnosis. You can still ask questions. You can come in and continue to have that conversation. I'd like to see that barrier broken between the doctor and the patient. Come in with questions. It's your right to ask me questions. It's your right to ask for more information, to clarify whether this drug has certain side effects or not. Instead of what I see now is I give you a prescription and then you run off, you put it in the bin and you never get better, and then you go to the next colleague and say, that one didn't know what they were doing, so that's why I've come for a second opinion. So instead of that, keep engaging your doctor. If you're not happy with the treatment, you have the right to a second opinion, a third opinion, as many as you would like, but then follow through, because we can't work without you. It's teamwork. So that's my biggest challenge to everyone.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes.
That's it. Zambi, what about you? You know, in your place of work, what would you like to tell young game changers out here who want to make a positive impact in society, who want to really take matters into their own hands and try to tackle this plastic pollution problem that we have in Kenya? What would you like to tell them? Any advice that you have for them?
Just start. Because a journey of 1,000 miles begin with one step. When we started 5 years ago, plus minus 6 years ago, we started with collecting plastic just from our estate and sorting it. Then we realized we're collecting more plastic than we're processing. Then we asked the question, what more do we do with this plastic? 3 years down the line, we figure out how to convert plastic waste into building products. And as you see, it created like a snowball effect. You start one step and then you build another, because you're continuously getting this knowledge, you're continuously getting these connections and these networks, tapping into these hubs where people know things.
Yes.
And then the other thing is actually just find people of like mind. I'd like to take this opportunity to shout out my team, Jijenge team. They are the baddest in the business because in total we've been able to provide job opportunities for about 113 individuals, both men, women, and youth. And the idea is to increase this number as we increase and streamline the value stream. So just start, find the right team, and when things go tough, always tap into your why, tap into your core. Why did you begin this in the first place? Because you can lie to everyone, but you cannot lie to yourself, because that's what will fuel you.
Amazing. What a great way to end the show. Thank you so much, ladies. Honestly, I've learned so much from the two of you, and really just thank you for being such powerful forces and, you know, women who I feel are inspiring generations to come. So continue doing the great work that you're doing, and yes, all the very best in future. Let's make a difference. Let's break the bias.
Let's break the bias.
Thank you for watching. This has been Easy Friday. We'll do this again next week, same time, same place. Once again, happy International Women's Day to you. If you're watching at home, lots of love to you. As I said, we continue to break the bias, not just this month, but every month to come. Good night, take care. But yet, don't go too far. DJ Koljax, are you ready to break the bias? All right, disco funk it is.
DJ Koljax in the game.
Wanapenda kujiringa, wanapenda kujiringa. Wakishika flow bado wadunda, wanadunda dunda.